welcome to Collider Movie Talk, a very special episode. Why is that? Because you guys determine everything that we talk about. This is less movie news and more movie fans asking us questions we solicited from all different social media accounts involved with us here at Collider Video. We got the best questions lined up and the best panel lined up, ready to answer them as best we can. Look at this gorgeous array of human beings we have here today. Right over there is Mark Yodi Riley, winner of the prestigious Yodi Award.
Oh, well, thank you. Happy to be here, Mr. Ellis. Should I do my speech now?
I
didn't get to all of it.
A little short.
I didn't finish all of it. Oh.
It was fantastic, and
Okay,
it was a light in a dark world. Was your speech?
That's what I was aimed for.
You're our Oprah, my friend. Speaking of somebody who maybe is the Gale to your Oprah, that could be Perry Nemiroff.
I'll take that. And I didn't win any special awards, but I'm #1 in Dewey's eyes, and that's all that matters to me.
That's right. Well, if you bring up Oprah, you bring up Gale, you can't have that conversation without having our own Stedman, John Roca, right over there. How are you, buddy?
Whatever Mark says.
Okay, guys.
Already on point.
We are going to get right to it with, this comes from Twitter, and this first question is from Blue Leafs 13, likely a hockey fan. The question is, if Black Panther is able to gross over $1 billion at the box office, would you be more optimistic of Infinity War breaking the all-time opening weekend record? So you're talking about Black Panther doing over $1 billion over the world. So, like, worldwide gross over $1 billion, and would that indicate that Infinity War is going to break the all-time box office record for opening weekend here in America? So those are two pretty lofty goals, I'd say, Perry. You got to kind of parse each one of them. Do you think Black Panther has good odds on getting to the 1 billion mark? I think 4 MCU movies have done it thus far.
No, I think it might be only 3 of them. I think it's Avengers, Age of Ultron. Oh, 4. Avengers, Age of Ultron, Iron Man 3, and Civil War.
Yeah.
So those are the 4. So I don't think that is a very likely goal for it to actually hit, but to play along, if it did hit 1 billion, I do think that would bode very well for Infinity War. I still don't really see Infinity War breaking certain records that, you know, we've discussed time and time again on this show, but that $1 billion mark is a major challenge. I think, if anything, Infinity War is going to hit that milestone, but probably not Black Panther.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Riley, if you look at whether Black Panther has a better shot at doing 1 billion over the world, or if you think that Avengers Infinity War is going to do what Force Awakens did here, which one would you give better gambling odds to?
Oh, that's tough. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I would lean towards Black Panther 1 billion because of the conversation I'm seeing online and how excited people are to see this, and that it did hit the advanced ticket sales. It beat Civil War on Fandango. That's a good indication. But as far as Infinity War, we've talked about this a number of times, even on Mailbag a couple times. To hit that Force Awakens opening weekend, that's a tough one. That's really, really tough. But I kind of want to temper my answer until I see what Black Panther does, even opening weekend, because then I can kind of maybe trace it. I still think Black Panther is going to open around 150. Probably a little under that, but 1 billion worldwide for Black Panther? End of day, no. Probably not.
I mean,
probably
like,
not.
If you look at opening weekend alone, Roca, Spider-Man Homecoming might be the best comparison for Black Panther, even though I think Black Panther is going to make more money than Spider-Man Homecoming did opening weekend. Right now, Spider-Man Homecoming's worldwide gross is $880 million. It's not that far off from $1 billion. I mean, $120 million, to me, it's not a lot of money. It might be to you. That's all it needs to get over that billion mark. And I think Black Panther might be galvanizing a new fan base enough to get to the $1 billion mark. And if that's true, then I think that in Infinity War could also benefit from getting a new sect of fans energized about this MCU world. So I think that would bode better for Infinity War. I just don't see Infinity War getting to $250 million. I think it could get close. I don't see it breaking the Force Awakens record.
$250 billion.
$250 million.
Million. Opening. Yeah. Look, here's the deal that I want to clarify here, and I hope I walk this correctly in tightrope. Black Panther, I think, will do what Mark says, 150 million. I agree with Riley, 1,000%. I think even more, and I think it could possibly cross, because we're talking worldwide, right? So we're talking Africa. There's a large continent, right? A lot of people are going to go see themselves represented in that film. There's a lot of black people across the world who are going to be excited to see Black Panther in a movie theater. So got to factor that in. Maybe these people wouldn't normally go and see a superhero movie, but they will go and patronize this film because they want to support this happening. So worldwide, 1 billion I think is certainly possible for Black Panther, especially if it hits it and people enjoy it and it's got great reviews. People love it. I think it's not out of the realm of possibility. And you can feel what Mark Riley said. This whole idea, the Fandango pre-sale tickets, everyone's super excited about it. So if it hits it out of the park and it's great, like everyone's expecting it, people are going to go back multiple times to see this thing. Now, do I think it'll affect Infinity War? I think it all depends on what Infinity War's early buzz is. I don't think one film is going to affect another film if the reviews or the idea of the film isn't that great. Look at Justice League, right? So this is it. Just all the Wonder Woman got great reviews. Did that help Justice League knock it out of the park at the opening week of box office? It did not. So those are the things that you have to factor in, I think.
Can you imagine any post-credit scene of Black Panther getting fans more excited for Infinity War, or is it already at fever pitch? Because we're assuming, like, Black Panther is going to be great if you give it that already. What could they possibly do in a post-credit scene that's going to say, okay, I want to see Infinity War even more now?
Anything. Anything. I mean, I think the fact that excitement for Infinity War is just so freaking sky high. It's not the fact that nothing you show me will get me even more excited. I will take whatever I can get. And the second I see something, I'm going to be counting down even more so to Infinity War.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty exciting time if you're a comic book fan in general, Riley. But, I mean, if you look at what Infinity War needs to do, the only 3 movies, I think, or 4 movies of The Last Jedi have opened at over $200 million domestically. And that's the 2 Star Wars movies, and that's Jurassic World, Perry's movie, and then you have the first Avengers movie. Age of Ultron got close, $191 million. Civil War, 174, something like that. So I think Infinity War's got a shot to break 200. I think it will break 200. I think Black Panther will break $1 billion worldwide. So I think Black Panther has the better odds to hit its worldwide number than I think Infinity War does to break its domestic number. We'll see how it all shakes out this May. It's going to be exciting either way. Our next question comes from Mike, and he is in Michigan. I believe this is from Facebook. His question is, if you can take a movie franchise and you can write a sports movie using the characters in said movie franchise, what are you going to use and what is the sport? He would like to see the Mighty Ducks version of Quidditch, in which an older Harry Potter has to coach a misfit team of wizards to compete against. You guessed it, Team Malfoy. He wants to hear what we would come up with. I like your idea a lot, Mike from Michigan, especially because it would indicate, if we're going by the Mighty Ducks storyline, that Harry Potter got hammered one night, flew his broom into a wall somewhere, and then the judge at Hogwarts sentenced him to have to coach the Quidditch team. That's what I want to see. This is paired with another question that's in a similar vein, so I just kind of wanted to lump them together, and that is from Jonathan Caro. He says that since the Super Bowl is coming this weekend, which movie characters would you like to have on your football team?
Oh, yeah.
So you can kind of take a page out of that and then expand it to any sport, any team you want to have, any movie characters, any franchise in history. John Roca, you are a sports enthusiast.
Yeah.
Who's your squad?
So you want me to like list the people that I want on my football squad, right?
It's got to be from one franchise. Though. You can't cherry pick from like, oh, this guy
Can
from
I go
this movie.
first?
All right, then I got.
No, I want to go first. I want the Avengers.
No, he already asked me. I'm going to take
It's not
not
fair.
the Avengers because that's
Okay.
cheating.
Oh.
That's an easy choice. I would take Guardians of the Galaxy in a Longest Yard remake. This idea of them being in a space prison, having to play this sports, and it might not be a football, but it'll be related to football, kind of a space football version of it, and then have them all like kind of. You got Drax totally doing the line. You got Gamora, you got Nebula, you could Mantis, all this kind of like putting people to sleep as she's running. Like there's all kinds of things that could happen. And of course, you got Star. There's no better quarterback than Star-Lord, for God's sake. So you've got all that set up for me. Now, if you're picking players, then out of different movies, I would like to do that game. But if we're not going to do that game, then I got no answer.
We'll come back to you
Okay.
on that game. I do like to call it Star-Lord being your quarterback. I think he's going to throw a lot of touchdowns. He's going to throw a lot of picks, but he's a gambler. That's what he does. He's got a very Farvian kind of style playing quarterback. Perry Nemiroff, you want to take the Avengers?
I do want to take the Avengers. How can you not go with the Avengers? I mean, you pretty much have someone that could dominate in every position, whether you're running the ball or freaking Hulk. No one's getting past Hulk. So I think
As long as he stays Hulk.
win.
If you start stroking his hand while
That's
he's
a good
talking to
point.
him, and right before you attack, well, what sport are we talking about?
We're talking about football. We're
Oh,
drafting.
football?
We're
All
drafting
right.
players
I will
for our
expand it to
football
any sport
teams.
you want them to play.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it could be Quidditch, it could be hockey, it could be basketball.
I want to
whatever.
play Quidditch.
Okay.
I don't want them to play Quidditch for me.
Look, Quidditch would be a lot of fun.
You want Hulk on a broom?
Hulk on a broom sounds a little.
That sounds dangerous.
Sounds a little dangerous, but Iron Man might be able to help him out. He's done that in the past. Mark Riley, your sports team of choice.
Well, the Hoth Wampas would need to, the football team would have to like suit up. We got
Yes.
Luke Skywalker as quarterback.
Oh.
Okay, led by Coach Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Of course.
You know, we got there. Han Solo is obviously a running back. You know, he can use the Kessel run there to his advantage somehow.
You know that was done in a spaceship, right? He wasn't actually.
I
Running.
I thought Han Solo ran fast.
I mean, he runs fast into the Millennium Falcon, but
Okay.
Chewbacca
Because
would be a
it's-
great D lineman.
Do you know
Yeah, well,
what football
Chewbacca is running the D line
Yeah.
with the
Oh, yeah.
entire crew from Mos Eisley Cantina.
you
go.
So that's my D line led by Chewbacca.
big
Leia's going to be the long. She's going to punt. She's going to be able to kick the winning field goal at the end.
I like that. I'll Kathy Ireland and
Kathy
Necessary
Ireland and
Roughness.
Necessary
Yeah.
Roughness. Also, she does use the Force. So
Kinda cheating.
not only do we have Luke Skywalker throwing, you know, just perfectly because of, you know, the said Jedi powers, we also have a Jedi as a kicker. So the extra point, winning the game, yeah, the Hoth Wampa is going straight to the top.
I kind of like it. I see Ray as a receiver that's not afraid to go over the middle.
Ray is
Yeah.
definitely a receiver. Yep,
Possession
you
receiver.
know what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
thinking. And once Ben Solo comes back to the light side, he's going to be like the Gronkowski of,
Yes!
of the league.
That's a big, big if.
Yeah.
Roca, so you want to cherry pick from other movies
I
and
do.
put them into a game. Who are you taking?
I got Johnny Utah as my quarterback.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Nice.
From Point Break.
Is this before his injury
Yeah,
or
before
after?
it's all
Okay.
before it is. Rod Tidwell's my receiver coming
Okay.
out over the
Okay.
side. I mean, that's the way you got to do this thing. Hold on, I got Charles Jefferson, Forrest Whitaker from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's my middle linebacker.
Ooh,
right, that's my
nice
guy going
call.
over. And I got Bobby Boucher coming on the other
Oh,
side
boy.
as my other linebacker, and Kathy Ireland as my kicker from Unnecessary Roughness, and Herman Boone. Remember the Titans. That's my coach.
Okay, I like your coach. I like your players. However, I think that my team is going to be pretty good. I'm going to do two sports here. My football game is going to be between the X-Men and the Bad Mutants or whatever. It's basically Professor X is Belichick, and then Magneto is going to be I don't know
So you got the
Joe Gibbs
Brotherhood-
or Don Shore.
You got the
It's-
Brotherhood of Mutants versus the X-Men.
Yeah,
All right.
so here's what you have, because I think Cyclops is going to be my starting quarterback. Wolverine, I see him in a running back mode. Professor X calling the shots. I see Storm as a very dangerous wide receiver. She's a long threat. Now, you go to the other side of the ball here, and you have the Bad Mutants, and you have Juggernaut as your fullback. I mean, that's
Oh,
a
boy.
John Riggins level guy.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, and so I like that. But then there's a basketball game that I really, really, really want to see, and I think one team's going to win, and I think Perry Nemiroff is going to think another team is going to win, because I am putting
nervous.
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Casey Jones. He's rounding out the five against the Power Rangers. I say, bring it on! The Power Rangers versus the Turtles plus Casey
That's
Jones.
so much fun. I
Space
don't care
Jam
who
2
wins.
right there.
That basketball game
Yeah.
would just delight me.
I would love to see that game, and I think the Turtles take it. I think that they're more athletic, and I also
yeah.
think that Bryan Cranston is going to get so outcoached by Splinter. I think Splinter he's too good with the X's and O's. If those Turtle boys can stop Shredder in time to get onto the court, I think that they run away
this
with
is
this
the
game.
way to save both franchises. Just make a mashup sports movie.
I am kind of liking where these questions are going. Our next query comes from Christopher Corcoran, and he says, should Paramount cut ties with Michael Bay? Since his movies are making less money now, they need a hit badly. John Roca, should Paramount cut ties with Michael Bay?
No!
Oh, boy.
No, here's the deal.
I asked the wrong guy that question, didn't I?
It's an interesting question, but like everyone failed at Paramount in 2017. So like, what are we talking about? It isn't just Michael Bay. He stepped aside. You know, Bumblebee's being directed by somebody else, so it's moving forward in that direction. I don't think Bay will be back for a bit. But Bay's movies still connect with people at the with certain films. He still knocks it out of the park. He still has love for The Rock and Armageddon and Bad Boys. And if he comes back for Bad Boys 3, redeems himself, people will be excited for that.
He's still producing
Yeah.
the Transformers movie, and
Yeah.
I think this is the worst time for Paramount to cut ties with Michael Bay, because he's the only guy making you movies that are making any money from a blockbuster perspective. I mean, Mission Impossible is doing well too, but Paramount, they're in the market right now. They are dying for another franchise, and until they get that, they're going to be relying on Michael Bay's, at least his producing abilities, if not his directing ability. Say whatever you want about the quality of the movie. If Paramount wants more Oscars, they should ditch Michael Bay. But they want to make more money. They have Michael Bay Drive on the Paramount lot for a reason, because that guy has single-handedly kept that studio afloat through the dark times. Perry, how do you see this?
That is exactly where my mind went when I initially read this question. And then just to take a look at the opposite side of it, what if their ties to Michael Bay are stunting their growth? What if they're putting so much of what they have into his movies that, you know, we're not just talking about Transformers dipping, we're talking about the demise of the Ninja Turtles franchise, which could have been a major moneymaker for that studio. And it turned out to not be that at all. Maybe if they took Bay out of the equation and they started to open themselves up to new people and new opportunities, they would wind up striking gold with a completely different idea.
That's really fair. That's a really good point, because you're sinking the same amount of money into the Transformers movies, not to mention marketing them all over the world, but the return on the investment hasn't quite been up to what it used to be. But worldwide, they still make such an incredible amount of money that if it was just domestically, I'd be totally inclined to agree with you. But I think because these movies do so well overseas, you're getting the money. You're just not putting them into other projects that have paid off.
But even knowing that that wasn't the case with the most recent Transformers movie. See, normally I would go with the same argument too, saying, oh, they're just not doing well in the States anymore, but worldwide, they're making all the money they need to. That wasn't the case with the last one.
And it certainly wasn't with Ninja Turtles either.
No.
So it's Perry and I are arguing here, Riley. Whose side you taking?
I'm with Perry. The last night made 500 million less worldwide than the previous whatever train wreck that was, Extinction.
How dare you?
And then if you look, Michael Bay then tried something new and he branched out with the fantastic 13 Hours.
Yes.
Worldwide, it only made 69 million off a 50 million budget. Worldwide. His little Benghazi movie, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
I gotta hand it to him. I loved that movie.
All-time great movie.
It is an all-time great movie, but it only made 69 million worldwide off a 50 million budget. That is not good.
That's crazy about his smaller movies.
Smaller movies
are considered good movies.
Yes.
But the bigger ones are the ones that bring in the money.
Well, we're also
Right.
talking about Paramount. Those little movies, they're not going to save the
They're not
studio.
gonna save
they
it,
need
but
another big thing like Transformers.
It goes to my point about the question is cut ties with Michael Bay. Even his smaller movie didn't really do that well box office wise. Transformers, it's on its dying breath right now. We see what Travis Knight will do with Bumblebee.
Yeah.
That's the caveat. That's the outlier. We got to see what it does. Is the brand still alive? But with Michael Bay, you brought up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was gone. That was a box office flop with the sequel. I think it's time to let Michael Bay go and you try something new. You try something new. You look at your franchises. You look at some source material out there. What can you do to save the studio? Because Michael Bay isn't helping anymore. I think it's time to let him go.
All right, everybody's saying let Michael Bay go except for me. Now, like, if you were to let Michael Bay go, I think you got to write a personal letter to Tom Cruise and say, Tom, please stop doing your own stunts.
Oh,
This
yeah.
Mission Impossible thing is keeping us afloat right now. So please, please, please let somebody else handle the dirty work. We're going to move on to Jedi DMF at Disney Marvel fan. Hey, are you paid by Disney? Here's the question. If the top 50 superhero movies list took place after Thor Ragnarok and Justice League were released, where would those movies have ranked on the list? So if you're not aware, Collider just recently did our top 50 superhero movies of all time. We did a poll of everybody here and a lot of people at the .com, and it all shook out to where some spoiler alert, I guess, is that number 1 was The Dark Knight, number 2 was Logan. Where do you think that Thor Ragnarok and or Justice League would have hit on this list, Perry, if either one of them made it to the top 50?
Oh, if I'm considering where it might have made it, if I consider everybody's voting, because I originally was just thinking my own way.
Well,
and
what was your own
If I
way?
did
Well-
have the choice, I think that Ragnarok would have wound up within the 25 to 15 range, within that little gap. And then I actually would be inclined to put Justice League in the 40s, but then when I consider the fact that BVS didn't even make the list, I can't bear to do that. But do I dock Justice League because of that? So I kind of want to put it on the list. But again, it's not my personal list, so I imagine that my prediction with Thor Ragnarok would have been pretty accurate, but Justice League I don't think would have made the cut.
Yeah, I would see Thor Ragnarok in the teens to early 20s, like what Perry said. I see Justice League making the cut for sure. I mean, I like that movie a lot. I could see it in a 30-ish spot because Man of Steel is on the list and Wonder Woman's on the list.
Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Sure.
Then? So let's say that we were re-voting for this entire thing all over again, and everybody in the office saw Batman v Superman and Justice League, where you were able to vote for them. Do you think the two of them being present would have maybe given BVS a boost and not so much Justice League?
No, I like Justice League better than Batman v Superman. So I would vote that in, and I think B versus S. It could have been in the top 50. I can't actually remember where I voted it, but I think it could have belonged in the top 50, and that would have been fair, but I wasn't heartbroken that it was left off on honorable mention either. Justice League, I would have said, wait a minute, that needs to be in the top 50 somewhere. For me, anyway. How do you feel, Riley?
Look, BVS should have been in the top 50. I was with the fans on this one when they were like kind of screaming at us saying, honorable mention, are you insane? Yeah, I totally agree. I thought the more I watch Batman v Superman, the more I adore this movie. I'm sorry. I really am. I know. Because Justice League does not deserve to be in the top 50. Wow. If you were to take Batman v Superman, that is a better movie for me. Okay? Now, the voting might work out differently. These are the things that we went through, to figure out how to make this list. It was a big debating thing. So I don't see Justice League making it just because of a lot of the colleagues that I know wouldn't put it out there. I don't think it's a very good movie. It's a Frankenstein's monster of a movie that doesn't know what it wants to be. The tone is all over the place. Honorable mention, if anything. And that could, like you said, Perry, I think it would bump BVS into the top 50.
Roka, how are you seeing this?
So is it where I would put it, or where?
Sure.
Okay, because listen, let's take a look at this list real quick, because I want you to understand where I'm coming from. First of all, Power Rangers, you can move on out of there, and you
get that out of there.
You can put Justice League in there. That's for damn sure.
That was
and
voted onto that list fair and square.
Sure, I didn't say it wasn't.
Okay.
I just said you're asking me where would I put it. I would put Justice League in that slot and move Power Rangers out, and I would definitely move down Spider-Man: Homecoming out of the top 15 and put Ragnarok in there. Absolutely. I think that I enjoy Ragnarok. I'll go back and see Ragnarok a million times more than I will go see Spider-Man: Homecoming. Now, if you're asking my crew here what they would have done, then I think Ragnarok probably would have been around the 20 to 25 range because it's still a new movie. And I think a lot of people had an issue with voting newer movies higher up on the list. Even though we did have Logan and Wonder Woman up there, I think there would have been a pushback on Ragnarok.
Yes, somebody else had also written about Logan being number 2 and how I mentioned that I think that it's impossible to put it at number 2 because we just don't have the perspective on it yet. Is that how you guys see that, or do you think Logan is going to stand the test of time as the number 2 superhero movie?
I think it's going to stand the test of time, and it's only because of I rewatched it again right before the Oscar nominations, and it's so powerful. It continues to surprise me, and new things pop out. Whether it's the performance, this last one, and I mean Patrick Stewart was robbed for not getting a nod.
He's a great football coach. I hear too.
He's a great football coach. But I watched it again. I'm like, this man deserves an Oscar nomination. It was so good. So watching the movie again really enhanced it. And this is probably the 5th time I've seen Logan. So I think over time it's going to continue to be referenced as one of the all-time greats. But I do see the point. That was 5 viewings in. This is after voting. So, but I'm still standing by it. I don't know what the panel thinks.
I'm at 30 watches, around 30.
30?
I've been watching it.
What?
I've been watching it.
So how many
Did you
times
say
have you
3-0?
seen Greatest Showman?
I've been watching it like once a week. Because it is a film that, to me, speaks on so many levels.
Don't you have like 90 friends? None of them calling you, being like, "Hey, let's go to Zanku Chicken today." No, you just
not at 1 in the morning.
Okay. All right. Hey.
I like to wake up.
Don't complain when you come into work and you're tired. Then and be like, "Oh, did you watch Logan last night?" He's watching Logan every night and listening to the Greatest Showman.
Some of us wake up early so we can brag about going to CrossFit. Some of us don't. Some of us don't.
You know what that is? That's jealousy.
That's fairness is what that is. But no, I love the movie so much. So I pushed back because I think Schnepp felt the same way. And I won't change my mind on that. That film is the 2nd best superhero film ever made, just behind Dark Knight, and only barely just behind Dark Knight, in my opinion. And so it deserves where it's at. Sometimes you know when you know. When you saw The Godfather the first time, I didn't need 10 years to figure out that's a fantastic film or one of the greats or one of the classics. But I get your point of view, and I get where you're coming from. I just don't agree, and that's all that is. It's,
well, I mean, that's my point of view now. I haven't seen the movie 30 times. Perry, what's your overall view count on Logan? Do you think it's number 2?
It's 5. I've watched it 5 times, and I love it. I love it so much, and I'm happy that it got number 2, and I think it's going to wind up being there if different iterations of this list come out well into the future. I'm also the kind of person that trusts my instincts when I first see a movie, and we could play that game with, is it too soon, and ultimately never make a list, because we're always going to wind up in that same position. And no one's carving this list in stone anywhere. Right. Even when you're talking about your personal top 10, I know for a fact that my personal top 10 is very fluid, and it will change every however many years. So the same thing can happen to this, and that's perfectly fine.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess my top 10's a little fluid. The top 3 are set in stone.
Yeah.
And then, you got that classic trilogy out there, and then anything else, maybe it's Animal House, maybe it's Ninja Turtles 2.
Animal House, that's
It's Animal House versus Monty Python and the Holy Grail for the best comedy of all time.
That's a tough choice.
So now I'm really excited about this next question. It comes from Duncan Zuvich at Science and Such, and he says, "What movie have you seen the most times in theaters?" In theaters. So this is not at John Roca's place at 2 in the morning. This is the most theatrical viewings of a movie, and then we need the number associated with it. I mean, in recent memory, I think I did The Last Jedi 4 times. I did Force Awakens 6 times. So 6 is, I don't know that there's anything in recent memory that will even come close to 6 for me. Back in the day, I don't know that I ever saw anything in a theater more than 6 times. I saw White Man Can't Jump a handful of times in the theater, but I think I got to go with Force Awakens is my all-time high. What do you got, Perry?
With the recent Star Wars movies, I seem to hit the magic number of 4. I think it's because maybe I see 2 press screenings, then I go with my family, and then I go with my friends. So every single Last Jedi, Rogue One, Force Awakens, I'm at 4 with all of those. But the one that I've seen in theaters the most is no doubt Jurassic Park, because I saw it a couple times when I was a kid, and I was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And I've seen it at so many, whatever celebration screenings, whether it's an anniversary or just a random screening at the New Bev, there's always a reason. And it feels like someone's always showing it too. I mean, we did the same thing. So just recently I saw it again on the big screen.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Back in the day when it first came out, I probably saw Jurassic Park at least 4 times that summer. The movie that got off to the hottest start in my history, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Saw it 3 times in a span of 32 hours. I saw it twice in one day, the day it opened, and then I went back with my friends again the next day because they hadn't seen it yet. So, Riley, what do you got?
I'm going to have to double check the numbers, but I'm pretty sure that this is accurate because it's a very proud statement from my mother. 8 times I saw E.T. That's right.
Nice.
Roca.
Didn't get it the first 7 times?
The first time... The first time didn't get it. Yeah.
How many times did you need to see the claws
Watch
go?
E.T. again, you son of a...
I did at a backyard 3 months ago. I still...
A backyard?
It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
It
What,
doesn't
that was
connect- it just
was
doesn't
it
connect
projected
with
on
me.
a tree?
Yeah,
What are you
no,
doing?
it was- No, one of my 95 friends. They had a beautiful screen connected.
All right, so the first time I saw E.T., I ran out of there screaming, scared, because the NASA astronauts came in. That got me.
Oh, the
But then-
astronauts scared
The,
you.
the
Yeah, not
astronauts
scary,
scared
not
me.
the alien
Slow motion.
creature here for unknown reasons.
Yes. Not the alien creature who had a penchant for Reese's. No, it was those. For whatever reason, it scared me. I ran out of there. But that's where the 8 comes in, because my mother said, yeah, then we took you back 8 times to see it. Jurassic Park is close with 7, because that was right the sweet spot. And we would always go, let's see Jurassic Park after school. And we'd go again. It was up there for Titanic with 6 as well. I went a lot for Titanic, which I don't know what was going through my head back then. But
There's a lot of people that went to Titanic a lot.
I had it, girlfriend took me a couple times, went with family a couple times, friends a couple times. It was crazy. But I think recently, the most was Force Awakens with about 5 screenings. But I'm going to stick with E.T. at 8.
I think my friend wouldn't mind me outing her about this. A very funny comedian, Justine Marino. I think that she's up to 21 times she's seen Titanic on the big
boy.
screen, including the re-release. So
Through
she's
the 3D?
That
she's a
sounds
big
like her.
Titanic fan. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we're talking like total throughout our lives, or we're talking like when it came out?
Yeah, I mean, why don't
Okay,
why don't you just answer the question how you feel it instead of trying to like get
Everyone's all over
every
the
rule,
place. I'm sort of a military guy.
situated.
You give you parameters.
There's no referee's going to come in here and throw a yellow flag. You're
Okay,
you're
you're
fine.
out. Die Hard, the first time it came out, I saw it 8 times in the theaters. Batman, 1989 Batman as well. Titanic, 7 to 8 times.
Yeah.
I don't know what was about the pop culture.
It was a phenomenon.
Group thing.
It
that
was.
You
It
had
was
to go
like,
see it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it was right when I was starting to embrace my love of movies even more and becoming an actor in '97 down there. So in Florida. So, the most I've seen a film in the theaters is Lawrence of Arabia. I've seen that probably about 22 times in it because I go to the Egyptian or the Arrow here in town. And I've lived here, almost 18 years. And I go see it at least 2 or 3 times a year. So it's just a beautiful movie to see projected on the big screen.
Yeah,
if you love film.
Piggyback off the E.T. one, because that's our next question. Our good buddy Luis Rivera writes, if you would rather see a sequel to E.T. or a Back to the Future reboot.
Ooh.
Mark Riley going right to you.
Yeah.
So you either can have a sequel to E.T. or they reboot Back to the Future.
Okay, sequel to E.T. then, because do not reboot Back to the Future. And if they make a horrible sequel to E.T., well, you can just forget about it and go revisit the first one and just smile. And they almost did make a sequel to E.T. It is go out there and put sequel to E.T. Spielberg wrote a treatment.
What?
And it's god-awful. It is god-awful. Yeah, it's like the kids are grown and an evil race of aliens come into Earth.
They're all evil.
And they're kidnapping Henry Thomas's character, Elliot and Gertie, and the family.
Are they probing?
And the friends. I don't think they're probing, but they're definitely. It's like if I remember correctly, they're like, "Where's E.T.?" It was like they needed E.T. somehow, and like they're trying to get a hold of E.T. and he comes in at the last minute and saves it. Oh, it's bad.
See, I'll tell you what I don't like about
the treatment
that
is out there.
Is that an alien race cares that much about E.T. because E.T. look, people can love the movie. I think it's a great movie. He's useless. I mean, he is useless to us. He's useless to his own race. He's a botanist. He's got to be the dumbest botanist. Not once in that movie does he ever care about a plant. He's never wouldn't you think that instead of eating Reese's Pieces, he'd be like, oh, look, it's a flower. Oh, this Earth's no. All he's doing is hiding in Gertie's room and drinking Coors Light for the majority of that movie, and that's why I root for the government to find him.
He saved the plant that was dying. The flowers was dying, and he put this in, and then they grew again.
Okay, I forgot about that part.
I mean, I mean, it was kind of inherent in the character of E.T. that once he saved the flowers that come to life, then they represent E.T. So when Elliot and the family sees that the flowers dying, well, E.T. was dying, and then when the flowers bloom again, he's back. So it's kind of a part of his whole.
Look, movie talk. I haven't seen the movie in a while.
Well, that's it. This interview's over.
I am starting to remember something about how he helped Elliot's bike fly.
Yeah.
So I guess he contributed somehow. Fine, we won't dissect.
And if you go to the monologue E.T. gave on why he flew the bike was because he didn't want to ruin the plants in the forest when they're riding on the ground. That's why it flew. I am so kidding that it makes no sense
I was gonna say,
whatsoever.
wait, did he talk in the movie? Wow. So I was like, I need to see this movie. I need to be like
Everybody
Riley.
knows my love for E.T. They're like, well, Riley knows this. Oh, I'm going to look this movie up.
Okay, well, we're doing a lot of great E.T. mythology world building here, Rocha. Would you rather see an E.T. sequel or a reboot Back to the Future?
No, I would not want a sequel to E.T. I think it was fine as its own movie. I actually wouldn't mind a Back to the Future reboot in this way. If you have Michael J. Fox still in it, not as Marty, but there's his kids, there's grandkids. That way, Michael J. Fox gets to work, and it's you do a reboot. You can still do a reboot.
I could consider that a soft reboot because they have rebooted stuff where the originals
this soft
are still
reboot
around.
stuff. They call Force Awakens a soft reboot.
What?
That's episode 7.
Yeah, that's not
Episode
that is
reboot.
episode.
I think
So you can't reboot and say
Ghostbusters is a
7.
reboot in the way that but the original Ghostbusters still pop in there.
Well, fine. Then Marty's not.
Yeah, but
then
it's
he's
different
not,
characters.
but at least
Yeah,
he's
they're
in
not
it.
themselves,
I'd like
though.
to see Michael J. Fox work, and so I wouldn't mind seeing him with his Parkinson's and stuff. I would like to see him getting work in the movie. It would be fine to see him
That's
principal.
not a reboot.
Maybe he's the
It's a
principal.
sequel.
What if he's not Marty? What if he's not Marty?
Do we have
then that's a
Crispin-
reboot. That's
Can
fine.
Crispin Glover come back?
Yes.
That's my real question.
Or Eric
Perry,
Stoltz, the
we're
original.
writing some really trashy movies right now. Which one would you rather see?
I think I'd rather see a movie where Mark Riley writes a speech for Jaws. What would Jaws say in his speech?
A monologue.
What would Jaws say? I don't know. I'm hungry.
Quint tasted good.
Yeah.
I don't like either of these ideas.
Yeah.
I don't really want an E.T. Sequel, but I think the worst idea sounds like a Back to the Future reboot.
Yeah.
I think maybe if they took the reimagining approach, that's the only way that I could find the slightest bit of interesting, promising material in there, where it's like if that same scenario happened in modern times, just given you know, where we are today with technology and what, I don't know, however many years they want to go back, but yeah, it could be interesting to play in different time periods, but I would not want any kind of reboot where we get like a new Marty McFly or anything like that.
I got a pitch for you. What about a reboot, an all-black reboot, and it's going back to like the '90s rap stuff, you're going back through time, the '80s R&B stuff. Like, you know, you could play around with that, going back to the early like Run DMC days and stuff like that. You're messing around. Like, it would be nostalgic for us to watch something like that. Plus, you have, you know, it's all-black cast. Marty McFly could be some, you know, could change the name around. It would still work.
I think we can make the argument that these are the two most unrebootable or now sequelable after the Back to the Future ones movies of the 80s. You know, I mean, like Goonies, remake Goonies all day long.
Please.
Have yourself a blast.
Yes,
Remake Goonies.
I tend to agree.
Reboot it. Enjoy it. Beetlejuice is the other one that I'm a little nervous about. Them
Yeah,
touching,
you don't want to
but
revisit that. I know they've been threatening a Beetlejuice too, but it's just, when do you leave well enough alone and move on
Well,
and try
also,
something different?
When you say reboot, I still think we're talking about reimagining, where I could see that happen with Goonies, where it's kind of, it's a similar treasure hunt story with a different group of kids. I'm not talking about recasting these same characters with new young actors today.
I don't know why they haven't done that yet. Just do something with Goonies, because of the success of movies like shows like Stranger Things or It. It's like, people like seeing kids go off on an adventure, so do it. You know, have them find a dead body and just combine Stand By Me with Goonies. Be a lot of fun.
Ooh, I like that.
All right, we're going to move on. Our next question is a little more highbrow, if you want. Drake Frem says, what is the biggest Oscar snub of all time? Perry Nemiroff, the biggest Oscar snub.
Well, the first one that always comes to my mind, because it's pretty recent still, is the Lego movie. That will always bother me and feel a little wrong.
Snub,
given
it did not get
it didn't get
nominated
nominated
for Best Animated Movie.
Which I just thought was astounding. And I'm not saying that the other movies nominated didn't deserve it, but the Lego movie to me was just... It was such an incredible achievement, where when you first heard that they were going to make a Lego movie, what is this going to be like? And I think they did such interesting things where it's got this own story that's really successful in and of itself, but it still makes you feel like you're playing with Legos. And what's cooler than that when you have a toy to film adaptation, which I don't think any other one has gotten right. My mind is immediately going to Battleship, and there's nothing about that movie that makes me feel like I'm playing the game Battleship. Jake Gyllenhaal, Nightcrawler, is another obvious one that is recent, and I think it was crazy that he wasn't nominated for that performance. But the one that also sticks out to me is Steven Spielberg not getting a Best Director nomination for Jaws.
Oh, that's right.
Isn't that crazy?
a good
Because
one.
it did get a Best Picture nomination,
Best
and I
Picture
think
nom.
it won 3 Academy Awards. And of all things, it didn't get a Best Director nomination. That seems a little nuts to me too.
Yeah, the one I always go back to, just because I remember watching that particular ceremony, was a movie that got nominated but didn't win, when Shakespeare in Love beat Saving Private Ryan. I really like Shakespeare in Love. I think it's a really good movie, and I enjoy a good upset Cinderella story, but it just felt like when Steven Spielberg got the Best Director, I think, for Saving Private Ryan, he gave a speech, and it felt like he was holding back his speech to fully celebrate what he wanted to talk about, because he was pretty sure that, that they were going to win Best Picture, too. So it's like, I'll save the really good speech for when I'm back on stage. And we didn't quite get it because Shakespeare in Love upset everyone. It is a really good movie, but
Damn right it
I think
is.
Saving Private Ryan probably should have won that year, Roka.
I can't agree with you, but okay, I respect that. And the big thing for me is always Citizen Kane not winning Best Picture, or not getting Best Picture for over How Green Was My Valley. I think another interesting one, and this speaks to our culture and times, 1989, Do the Right Thing is not nominated for Best Picture. Driving Miss Daisy is a nice, safe film about race and wins Best Picture, which is even more
I
ridiculous.
haven't seen Driving Miss Daisy in a long time. I can't imagine that it's better than Do the Right Thing.
It's not, and that's what I'm saying. Do the
not.
Right Thing has so much more to say, and still works. Like, I watched it the other day. It was on some kind of pay channel. I was watching. It was like, you forget sometimes the early Spike Lee, how powerful his stuff really was. I think another one is Jake Gyllenhaal for Nightcrawler, and I would say Peter O'Toole did not win Best Actor for Lawrence of Arabia. And I know Gregory Peck won for To Kill a Mockingbird, but if you compare those two performances, there is no comparison. There is so much more that Peter O'Toole endures and goes through in that movie, whereas Gregory Peck is always just a noble guy through the whole movie. There's no change, no arc, and that's what I say.
I think Denzel for The Hurricane, too, should have won Best Actor.
Or Malcolm X, man.
Malcolm X was great at, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, another Spike Lee movie. Riley, what do you got? Who's getting snubbed?
Definitely, I'm going to go with Roka, like a classic, The Godfather. I cannot believe James Caan Robert Duvall or Al Pacino did not win Best Supporting Actor in The Godfather. That went to Joel Grey for Cabaret. And that's a what? Yeah. Like Sony coding alone? Come on, he could have done it.
You could
Al Pacino.
You could throw in Coppola, who lost to Fosse for direction, which is ridiculous.
Right. And sticking with director, I think it's interesting. I go to Christopher Nolan for not getting a director nod for Inception. Inception got nominated for Best Picture. He got a Best Writing nomination, but Best Director was kind of a snub. And then the big one that everybody really talks about, I'll bring it up here, The Dark Knight not getting a Best Picture nomination, but creating what we have, which is the 10 nominees a year later, because they're like, oh, well, we got to look at these Best Pictures and look at the comic book genre that is now changing. That 8 years later, we finally get a Best Adapted Screenplay for James Mangold for Logan, without putting Logan in a Best Picture nomination when you have those 10 slots. I'm still sticking with The Dark Knight, but those are my snubs.
All right, next up, Tanashi22. We got 2 questions left. At Tanashi22 says, what are your top 5 favorite theatrically released animated movies that are not Disney? Let's not go top 5. Let's go your favorite. Let's go your favorite movie.
Not Disney.
Animated.
Animated.
Is not Disney.
Got it.
Theatrically released.
So that takes Pixar out of the equation too.
Yeah.
Right.
Pixar's out. Disney's out.
Perfect.
Who you got, Riley?
I got How to Train Your Dragon.
I know.
Oh, great film.
Easy. That's an easy one. I love that. I remember watching that movie going, this is better than Toy Story 3. They came out the same year. I'm like, this should win Best Picture. It didn't. Toy Story 3 won, and rightly so, but it is one of my favorite all-time. It's an all-time great. From DreamWorks that would rely so heavily on pop culture references, this is our first real straightforward, like, boy and his dog story that really hit home for me.
I thought the Simpsons movie was great.
I love the Simpsons movie.
And Simpsons has fallen off for me, as the show has. I just don't find it as funny as it used to be in its glory days of the 90s. But the movie, I think it came out in 2007, that was a return to form for The Simpsons. Also, I like those Shrek movies, Perry. I think that Puss in Boots is about the most adorable thing to ever hit the screen.
I think Puss in Boots is adorable, but given how much I love my cat, you would think I would like that movie a little more than I actually do.
Great, but he's just so cute. And he's wearing his little boots.
I'm not the biggest fan of the Shrek movies for some reason, but I would go definitely Box Trolls. I do love me some Box Trolls. Have you seen the picture where I dressed Dewey up as a Box Troll? Because it is hands down the best Halloween costume ever in the history of pet Halloween costumes. I would put the Lego Movie in there. I love watching and rewatching that movie. I would probably have to put Brave Little Toaster in there because growing up, I adored that movie and I wore that VHS tape out so quickly. What else is there?
What was the toaster's mission? Like, why was he so brave? I never read or saw the movie. Like, what did the toaster do? Did he have to go on an adventure to the dining room? Like where did he go? What was his mission? Did he save a life?
To the dining room?
They went to the junkyard, and it used to break my heart.
He went to the junkyard?
Well, not like on purpose. They didn't purposely get themselves in trouble there.
He got thrown out.
He got thrown out, and he was so
like
brave.
Replaced by newer products.
So where'd he go? Did he go to another family that needed a toaster?
They like scoot around and they leave.
Okay, how does the movie end? Does a family get the toaster? Because really, a toaster's only job in life is to be plugged in and make bread darker and crispier than it was before. Is that how the movie ends? Or did this little toaster go on this stupid mission in the junkyard just to continue to be thrown away?
I can't. Well, now you're putting me on the spot because I don't remember.
All right, if you guys know how the brave little toaster ends up, John Roque, I'm sorry about your kitchen appliances.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, we're gonna go get you one of those air purifier things though,
Mark's
and you
fire.
can call that brave. Okay, so
you're throwing fire, Mark. Iron Giant. Absolutely. I would say Batman Mask of the Phantasm because that was before.
Those are both great calls.
Right. I would also say Akira for anime, and I would also go Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence. That is an incredible noir anime that I absolutely love. And I think that's it. I think those are the 4 that I could throw. Oh, and Fantastic Mr. Fox. People always forget about Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's an animated film, isn't it? Or is that stop motion? I consider stop motion.
That counts, yeah.
I think that counts.
Yeah, all the like Fantastic Mr. Fox, like Perry mentioned the Box Trolls, like the Wallace and Gromit movies.
Those are great.
Stop motion.
Yeah. Okay, look, I might have to take back my statement about the Brave Little Toaster because the first thing, if you Google Brave Little Toaster, the first thing that comes up is Brave Little Toaster goes to Mars.
There it is.
What? The thing went to Mars. Mars at some point.
Damn.
Look, they need toasters on
He
Mars.
has some funding
And
behind this
so-
operation.
Yeah, how did he get hooked up with Elon Musk? That is incredible.
That's incredible.
Congratulations, brave little toaster. I'm sorry I ever doubted you. Holy crap. Guy went to Mars. I'm not going to Mars anytime soon. I just got one more question, then we got to wrap it up here. So here it is. All right. Our last question is, as I stall here to get to
What
it.
can you toast on Mars?
Well,
While you
Ask Matt
stall-
Damon.
while you
Potatoes.
stall.
Potatoes,
Oh,
potatoes, potatoes.
potatoes.
you know, they really missed out. I think Matt Damon's character could have used a toaster in that setup. I think it would have really helped him. He could have maybe made some potato toast. I don't know. Just stalling for you, Mark.
Yeah,
Just
we're all stalling for you, Mark.
Stall no longer. Eddie Pinelli is here. And his question, at Eddie_Pinelli, what is one thing you love about film and one thing you hate about film? Whether it's the movies themselves, the community, the movie-going experience. Roka, you can be full of hate sometimes.
Sure.
What do you love? What do you hate about movies?
What I love about movies is the communal experience of seeing movies on the opening night. I think there's nothing that beats that. Not a sports event, nothing. I think there's a way of getting caught up and taken into places, and you lose yourself, and everyone else loses themselves too, regardless of political affiliation, beliefs, whatever. You just get lost in the dark with everyone else enjoying these movies. That's one thing I love absolutely.
More so than a sporting event?
More so than a sporting event.
Really?
I think because you can see fights at sporting events. When's the last time you saw actual physical fight in the middle of a movie? It's really difficult. Trust me, I've tried. No, I'm joking. One thing I hate
That
about
toaster ain't going to Mars.
one thing I hate about movies. I can't cuss people who turn their phones on in the middle of the movies. I'm gonna take a bat to you next time I see it. It drives me insane how disrespectful they are to other people who are just trying to watch a movie. I've seen people have full-on conversations in the middle of a theater, even in LA, which is supposed to be the one capital where they respect movie-going experiences the most. So that's what I would say. Disrespectful people in the theater.
All right, so he loves the community experience as long as you don't take your cell phone out, because then that
That's
ruins
right.
the whole thing for John Roca. A pretty nice gamut of the theater-going adventure that is being one of Roca's friends. Riley, how do you feel? What do you love? What do you hate?
Well, I got to agree with Roca because it's my favorite thing, the communal experience. The going to the theater it's like, I don't know. I don't want to be all cheesy, but it's like church for me, you know?
yeah.
It becomes that thing, opening night, you have to get there. I want to be there early. I want to get my snacks. I want to sit in my seat, and I want to just take in the people coming in. What are they talking about?
What are they dressed
What are they
as?
dressed at? What
Yeah.
are they excited about? Seriously, it is something that I enjoy so much, opening night movies.
Do you really care about what all these teenagers rolling into the movie theater are
Depends
talking
on the
about?
movie. Depends on the movie because one of the most recent examples was It. I had already seen it in a press screening, but I went opening night and people were dressed as Pennywise. They had balloons everywhere. They had SS Georgie hats. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, we got, like, they were Roca's friends. We got like 37 people here, and they're all dressed as Georgie. And we were all sitting there, and they're like, I can't wait to what is like, oh, this is scary. And then, like, especially for like a horror movie like It or Star Wars where the crawl starts and people are screaming, or Jurassic Park, which I remember seeing opening night in the theater when she fell through the ceiling and that raptor almost got her. People are jumping and there is an energy that you just cannot escape. For an opening night movie, it is the best. I love it so much. Depends on the movie. I've been opening night for like a drama, and you're like, okay, we could have probably done this on a Sunday matinee, but all right. The worst thing lately, and I've had this problem every time I'm going on said opening night, damn parking, man. The parking is awful. The Grove, I'm looking at you, the Grove.
Hello.
My God. This Russian woman and Asian woman got into a fist fight over a parking spot. They were saying there were 300 empty spots. And I'm driving around and there were 0 spots. And it took us 25 minutes to find parking. And we were pretty late to the opening night movie. So I'm having trouble with the parking, so that's my pick.
The Grove parking structure won awards, you know.
Oh, did it?
No, it's serious. A buddy of mine told me that we were driving when I first got to LA. he was
It
driving
won an
around,
award
we're
for the
in the
worst-
Grove parking lot, and he's like, you know, the structure won awards, and I'm like, who's giving out awards to parking structures? Like,
maybe
best
maybe
parking
the
structure.
fountain
Who's
won
giving
an
out
award.
awards to a parking structure where the ticket machine never works?
The
Oh,
ticket
yeah.
machines
I can
don't
never
work.
pay for
Yep.
my ticket.
And there is something wrong with the ticket with the counter. It said 307 spots were available, and there were like 25 cars all sitting parked with nowhere to go because
I know
nothing
the
was
kind
available.
of driver you are. Just
Oh,
from that
yeah.
statement, you're the kind of person that would rather sit there and hold all of us up with your blinker on to wait for the person to move forever when you know that there's plenty of juicy spots if you go 2 more floors up.
Oh, I was at the top floor.
I
went all the way to the top. This
You
is
could see
where
the Hollywood sign?
I could see the Hollywood sign. I was not underneath the ceiling. I was on the outdoor parking. Going 300 spots, there's not a single spot.
Man, y'all hear about Riley? He went rooftop. Okay, Perry, what do you
Riley
love?
killed
what do
the
you
guy.
hate?
I think
Riley
what
killed
I
the guy.
love more than anything is that feeling when you walk out of a really good movie that really rattled you to the core for any variety of reasons. It's like the one that comes to mind most recently is Call Me by Your Name. I'll just never forget driving home. And you know when you get like that flutter in like in your heart or your stomach, like, and you can't even put it into words, like why you feel the way you feel, but it's like almost like a transformative experience where you've been in that person's shoes for that period. And when a movie rattles me like that, that's when I stop and I sit back and I'm like, holy shit, storytelling like this can be so powerful and impactful. I think the thing that I probably have come to despise the most is anybody who makes someone feel like they're wrong for loving a movie. And I would go as far to say, even if there is a kid or maybe an adult out there who gets joy from what I think is not a good movie, like the Emoji Movie, I would never go to the extent of making that. We've had our discussion. But for example, your love of Transformers
Roka
will
does
never
love
make
his
me
Transformers.
love Transformers.
No.
But I will always respect your love of Transformers and never do anything to try to
Well,
take that away from you.
You tell everyone else at Collider that
Oh.
they do this.
I mean, we wouldn't make fun of you. Your taste in movies wasn't so horrible. No, we love you. I mean, Independence Day 2 is trash, but you're a good guy. Yeah. Sorry about the Brave Little Toaster, if that's what you're but, my thing that I love about movies and the thing I hate about movies are one and the same. You guessed it, popcorn. God, I love popcorn so much. Popcorn is my favorite thing about the movies. I walk in there. I could have just had a 5-course meal, and if I walk into a movie theater and I smell the popcorn, I have to get a large bucket of corn. That's also why I hate it so much. It's because I hate who I am after I finish the popcorn, because I eat it so quickly. And then I'm just sitting there thinking, well, it is a free refill, and we do have another 90 minutes of this movie, so I'll go get the free refill. I will just keep eating. It's like I can't stop my hand from force-feeding corn into my mouth. I don't know what it is, but I have no willpower when it comes to popcorn.
You can get the free refill ahead of time, bud.
What?
Yes. You don't know this is the trick of the theater. You go and you tell them, once you order your first large, you go, I'd like the free refill now. Then they tear the tab, pour it into another bag, so you have 2 bags to take with you into the theater, so you don't have to leave.
Oh, we're dealing with some
This
professionals here.
This is
Yeah.
called
This
a
is good.
life hack. This is called a life hack, son.
Yeah. All right, well, as we say goodbye to this episode of Collider Movie Time, there's a bunch of people running right now. Hey, I didn't get my refill. Can I get my refill now, too? It's like, hey, who declares that before the movie? Hey, I know my tummy, and you're going to go ahead and want to give me that extra corn. You live your life, Roka. So as we say goodbye to everybody here on Collider Movie Talk, thanks to the crew for hanging out with us and taping this very special episode. Thank you to all you guys for participating. Please leave your comments, your thoughts, your witty criticisms of today's show and the topics therein. I want to thank my panelists as well. John Roka, when you're not sniffing a movie out of more popcorn, where can the kids find you?
That's right, 2 hands. You can find me at The Roka Says on Twitter and on Instagram.
All right. Perry Nemiroff.
Twitter and Instagram at PNemiroff.
Mark Yodi Riley.
At Riley Around on Twitter and Instagram.
All right, so here's the last 2 lines of the wiki. So give me the spoiler alert.
Okay.
Toaster makes a heroic sacrifice by jumping into the Crusher's gears to disable it,
See, the
just in time to
junkyard.
prevent it from killing Rob and destroying his appliances. So he's basically brave because he sacrificed himself to save other appliances. Rob survives and returns to his apartment with all the 5 appliances in tow. So he saved 5 appliances total, including a mangled toaster.
Oh.
So he's kind of on life support, but he's there. And then Rob repairs the toaster and takes the 5 appliances with him to college.
Oh.
Okay, so
And
that
then Mars.
toaster, you
And
know
then
what?
Mars.
I
Yeah.
talked a lot of trash about you today, Toaster.
College or NASA is where he took him.
Pretty brave. Pretty brave. I'm at Mark Ellis Live. We'll catch you guys soon on a new episode of Collider Toaster Talk. Hey everybody, Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode of Collider Movie Talk. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. And if you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.